Good afternoon. We will give this a couple minutes to get everyone in and connected, and then we will get started with today's modernization presentation. Good afternoon and welcome to the session on NASS modernization. I am Brian Combs, Chief of Staff at NASS. I'd like to first offer a disclaimer about today's session. Teams across NASS are actively working on projects that will be presented today. A major part of this is engagement with our stakeholders. Screen captures presented represent the current state, but that could change based on feedback we receive from stakeholders. So with that, we'll jump in and get started. So NASS conducts hundreds of surveys and produces over 450 reports each year. In addition to this important work, staff have been working on some exciting new projects which we'll share with you today. NASS has a vision that will be recognized as a modern, innovative, customer-focused organization that readily adapts cutting-edge technologies and engages its world-class workforce to produce the most trusted and useful statistics on all aspects of U.S. agriculture. To achieve this vision, 3 strategic initiatives have been identified. The first initiative focuses on respondents. This initiative creates a data collection dashboard. This dashboard will be customer-centric, provide one-stop shopping, a single point of entry to complete surveys. It will also allow us to give back to respondents by creating a link between the surveys they are completing and the data products produced from those surveys. This will be housed in the USDA's secure cloud platform. The next initiative focuses on our data users. This initiative will transform the NASS data user experience by creating a simplified access, increased usability, and empowering modern analysis tools. NASS will also be hosting this new user interface and database within USDA's secure cloud platform. The next initiative focuses on the NASS employees and creates a link between our data collection efforts and our data release. This initiative will reimagine our operating model. It will reduce our data processing steps, streamline our operations, improve data quality, and equip staff with modern tools so they can be as efficient as possible. NASS is confident these efforts will allow us to recruit and retain top talent. Our initiatives are all people-focused. We start with our producers who supply the data that allow us to do our work. We end with you, the data users, who rely on our statistics to do your work. Linking these two together is the focus on our staff, who produce high-quality statistical information while always looking for ways to reduce the burden on our producers. Since this modernization efforts of our systems has a greater internal focus, we will spend most of the day looking at strategic initiatives 1 and 3, along with highlighting some of the recent work we have undertaken to improve our crop estimation programs. Taking a closer look at the data collection dashboard, we want to create a tailored experience. This would allow producers to log in and be presented with information that's useful to them, such as weather forecasts, the ability to select data relevant to them, such as prices, see recent surveys they participated in, and link to recent NASS data releases. In addition, they'll have the ability to supply common information about their operation, such as acreage, types of crops and livestock produced, and be able to easily update contact information along with setting their preferred contact methods. We also want to give back to respondents. This is another key component of this work. The dashboard will allow NASS to create a strong tie between the information producers provide through their surveys and then the data products that are produced from those surveys. They could easily see how their operation compares to historic national averages. We'd also be able to easily direct them to the most recent data release and any trending reports. The dashboard will also create an improved online experience. This experience will provide a modern look and feel to completing the surveys online. It will display surveys in progress, new surveys, and any completed surveys. This will also provide us another opportunity to link the surveys which they are completing to the corresponding data releases. Looking at the timeline for this project, in 2021, we'll begin the design work on the producer portal. In 22 through 23, we will be consolidating and streamlining our current processes and applications and begin integration with USDA websites such as farmers.gov. Looking to 2024, we plan to begin providing data products back through this producer portal. When we look at improving the ag data user experience, we're focusing on three areas: data tables, API, and topic landing pages. Looking at data tables, we are staying with the structure of the data item, time period, and geo level, which are currently accustomed to seeing in our reports. We are, however, moving these into an electronic state using a tidy data format. You will notice descriptions, footnotes, and other supporting information have been removed from the data tables and included in a data dictionary section. This tidy data format is key to empowering automated analysis tools that are standard in modern spreadsheet applications, ultimately making our data users' life easier. The data tables will also allow for easy filtering, visualization, and exporting. The enhanced API will include more detailed documentation, a data dictionary, and drive a NASS data user community where ideas and projects can be shared and discussed. Topic landing pages will ultimately replace our PDF reports. These landing pages will be interactive and include things such as data highlights from a recent news release, data tables in the tidy data format along with the data dictionary, visualizations which can be easily generated, exported, and shared, information about the data release, informational context, links to statistical methodology, and highlight related data release products. In 2021, NASS will create our initial pilot using dairy data. We'll spend the next couple of years continuing to integrate additional commodities and the continued development of the topic landing pages. We'll also be enhancing the integration with the NASS website. NASS has long used geospatial data to support our crop estimation program. Developments in technology and increased data availability have created exciting new opportunities for the NASS Integrated Modeling and Geospatial Estimation System, which we have termed IMAGES. This work looks to utilize all available data, incorporate new analysis methods, and utilize powerful new tools. The combination of these things are creating some future dividends that we are very excited about at NASS. As I mentioned, NASA has been using geospatial data since the 1970s. So why are we highlighting this work now? We really have two parts, part necessity and part opportunity. If we look to the necessity, we have a lot of challenges facing us currently. Survey burden is a huge challenge. The perceived duplication of the NASS survey data collections, along with the data that's reported through by producers to other USDA agencies. There's increasing costs. And probably most importantly here is our aging systems. We have IT systems that are nearing the end of their life expectancy. And this presents some opportunities as we begin to modernize our IT systems. We're being able to more fully utilize available data. Couple this with information being made available more frequently is allowing for new ways to look at and examine our data. Producer survey data is the key component to NASS's estimation programs. Administrative data, geospatial data, and economic data are all important factors used to support or evaluate that producer survey data. As we continue to build and explore the combinations of these available data sets, we are learning more valuable new insights. We also have a host of new tools at our disposal. We have USDA Cloud Computing, Google Earth Image, Amazon Web Services, machine learning, predictive modeling. And then we continue to build our partnerships with other USDA agencies such as ERS, ARS, NRCS, FSA. And this work is really helping to bring all this data together in a useful fashion. We're already starting to see future dividends. There's potential for new products, supplementing or replacing some of our survey data, enhanced disaster monitoring capabilities. The customer benefits are immense, and the work is exciting for staff, which is key to recruitment and retention of employees. This work is providing us with soil moisture information sooner, which covers the pre-planting weeks, providing greater insight into conditions during the planting season also. It's allowing us to more quickly provide disaster impacts to support USDA's response efforts to extreme weather events. The technology improvements are allowing us to begin providing some previously reported data for commonly asked questions back to respondents in an effort to reduce survey burden. And one of the most exciting new tools is the Crop Condition and Soil Moisture Analytics, or crop CASMA. This tool was a collaboration between NASS, NASA, and George Mason University. The soil moisture data this tool provides will be critical in helping NASS data better inform research on sustainability and the impact of extreme weather events, in addition to providing more detailed data to support the NASS crop estimation program. We anticipate the dividends of this geospatial work will continue to grow in the future, and we are really excited about what the future holds for these programs. Looking at the timeline, in 2021, NASS has been focused on moving our geospatial processing platform into USDA's secure cloud environment. We've also been developing models and creating linkages between NASS and FSA records. Modeling and the linking of FSA records will continue through 2024 when we anticipate to complete the linkage for the entire US. To modernize and position NASS for the future, we're looking at devoting approximately $10 to $15 million per year over the next 3 to 5 years. This investment will allow us to remain focused on data quality, more greatly leverage multiple data sources, provide more usable customer-focused products, equip staff with modern tools, and develop staff skills to fully utilize those tools. Most of all, this will ensure NASS can continue to provide relevant data to address key topics to agriculture, such as climate change, sustainability, conservation, along with supporting research access and the business needs of our data providers and data users. Thank you for attending today's presentation. I'd now like to introduce my colleagues joining me on this panel, and I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Will Hundle, Regional Director, the Southern Plains Regional Field Office, Vera Gleaton, Director of Strategic Planning, Eileen O'Brien, Deputy Director of Research and Development, Paul Williams, Acting Director of Information Technology Division, Dan Carestes, Director of Statistics Division, and Joe Parsons, Director of Methodology Division. We'll now be happy to take any questions.
Brian, do you want questions in the Q&A, or I see someone raise their hand. Do you want me to turn on their audio so they can speak? How do you want to proceed with your questions?
I'm fine with any of the above, whatever they prefer. I think we're happy to take them. However, Lakia. So.
All right, so I will allow Marvin Miller to talk at the moment. So.
Hello, Brian. Thanks for the presentation. The thought crossed my mind when you talked about the data respondent dashboard, and at least what I was seeing on my screen, I could make out a national average compared with respondents' data. And the thought crossed my mind that it might be helpful for a lot of crops to also have a state average. I don't know if a regional average also might make sense in some cases, but you know, as I think about the crops that I'm involved with, that you know, different coasts, different, you know, Midwest and whatnot are very, very different, and it might be helpful for that producer to be able to compare with somebody local as well as the national average. So just a thought.
All right. Well, yeah. Good afternoon, Marvin. It's good to hear from you. And yes, it's definitely something we can take into consideration. Will, I don't know if you have any more detail that your team has shared on that topic or discussed on that.
Sure. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Marvin. I appreciate the feedback. And that's exactly what we're working on right now. Of course, as mentioned in the previous session for the data users, you know, the aggregate level of the data that we can publish is directly correlated with the number of reports and the participation we have. So ideally, we want to get to the micro level as low as we can, so we can provide that information that's more relevant to the individual producer. And that's something that, you know, it's fairly easy to program to get that done. But again, we got to work on both ends. First, we got to make the portal something that's deliverable and usable, and then work on our participation rates so that we can make those products available.
Thank you.
All right, and it looks like we have a couple questions in the Q&A. So the first is, I just noticed your gridded crop progress and condition data, which goes back to 2015. Will you be extending that analysis further back in time? So Eileen, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that one.
Thank you for that question. We're going into this cloud computing environment, and we can entertain more historical data analysis and integration with our products. I'm not sure we're going to do that right now with the gridded crop progress, but thanks for that. If you'd let me know how you're going to use it, that's also helpful for us to prioritize what we're working on right now.
Great. And our next question, how will NASS adjust data collection for the next census of agriculture to reflect the re-recognized reservation status of tribes in Oklahoma? Don't know, Dan, do you have an answer to that one? Do we need to maybe follow up on that?
I think the best thing to do in this case with this question is for us to get a good response, and we'll respond back when we do the transcription and post these, rather than give an answer that's unclear.
Okay, Yeah, and yeah, so we will respond in the follow up to this with that, so we can get you an accurate answer. I apologize, we probably don't have all the experts we need to address that one on the panel today. So. And then look, we had a follow up, in particular I guess this is a follow up to the earlier question, Eileen. In particular, crop progress and condition reports go back to 1948 in some places. What are the chances of the gridded data going back that far?
If we can put a satellite back in time, that's probably the easiest way to do it. That's a question I'll ask my technical experts about why they started with 5 years ago and how much further back they can go. But yeah, no, we're entertaining all the data we've ever collected before in the history of NASS for all kinds of things, but prioritization is really key. But again, let me know how you would like to see these things and how you'd like to use them.
Okay, and our next question is where to begin. I've noticed the soil moisture website with George Mason University along with the NASS put out recently showing crop condition in progress on a more detailed map. Have you produced tutorials on how to use these new products?
Who's that question for?
I'm sorry, I think that's that one's to you, Eileen.
So I was distracted by the, could you repeat the question, Brian? I was distracted by some of the chat, so thank you.
Sure, no problem. Where to begin? I've noticed the soil moisture website with George Mason University, along with the maps NASS puts out, recently show crop condition and progress on a more detailed map. Have you produced tutorials on how to use these new products?
You know, I like that idea. We have a handbook, but if a tutorial where and maybe some Q&A, maybe we should try that. I think that we'd like to certainly see who's using it and see what it takes to bring them up to speed on this product. So thank you for that.
Okay, and then it looks like Eileen is typing a response to one of the follow-up questions on the gridded data. And then we have two questions by Tidy Data. Are you referring to the Tidyverse associated packages and statistical software are the landing pages that are replacing the PDF reports created with Tableau or some other software? Interested in comparing our modernization efforts. Thank you. So yes, I think to some extent our Tidy Data concept is kind of building on what from the R package. And then some of the landing pages will probably include some Tableau visualizations, but those won't completely be what's there. We're really looking at combining multiple things on those so that you have access to a data table along with some visualizations. But they won't necessarily be like a Tableau dashboard, but likely have some visualizations created through Tableau or some other visualization software. Okay, and then I can put, we will share Eileen's email address in the chat if that will work. Eileen, if you wouldn't mind to type that in, they can reach out to you with any questions they have on the geospatial work. Okay, and then our next question is, corn crop progress data is currently available on state level. Are there any plans for release crop progress data in ag regions within the state? Looks like is crop progress data going to be available more granular than the state, or is there any plans for that?
So you can drill down, I believe. So again, if that's of interest to you, we'll look into how we can customize that and whether we can pre-load that for the folks that want to look at it at that level of granularity. One of the great things about this project is that it has granularity, but it protects confidentiality in terms of the method that's applied. So I'm glad to hear people are so interested in this. This is great. I'm going to let the team know.
Yeah, that's good. And Dan, I don't know if you would like to share any more on the potential for more granular data beyond a state level for our crop progress and condition report.
Now, at this time, Brian, I don't think I want to go into that anymore. I think that we are willing always to look at what producers or data users want. And as Eileen said, obviously we want to make sure that we protect producers, as well as we don't want to put on any data that's misleading. But we will always do our best to get you what you need. So please feel free to email any of us here on this panel, or Eileen, and she'll coordinate with the rest of us. But we're willing to look into the needs of the community out there.
Great. Okay, looks like our next question is, how would the landing pages be designed and organized? For example, if looking for data that would have been under milk production report, will that require multiple clicks to retrieve same information? Similar question, will this affect the current API framework? So as far as how the landing pages will be organized, we're kind of building them with the concept of it would walk people into the data to expose and drive them to our larger database. So one of the other functions that we'll be doing as part of this is revamping our current quick stats to make that data more easy to find, search, filter, all of those things. So it makes it easier for you to pull out that usable data set than picking up a PDF report that's not very usable from a a data processing standpoint. So if you know what data you're looking for, you can easily go into the database, search for it, find it. If you're unsure of some of the data we might have available, the top landing pages would really be the area where you would go to discover what data is available for a particular topic. So we think it'll be easier, but it could equate to some more clicks if you're trying to just get to what used to be a report, because those won't be generated in the same way that they currently are. As far as API, we're still in the works on our development and getting that set up. We're hopeful that we will be able to continue our current API structure, or support our current API structure, at least for a certain amount of time, that we could give data users plenty of notice that we will be shifting over. But we think that structure will largely, the new API will be more usable for our data users. So.
Hey, Brian, can I add on to that once we start doing these landing pages, we'll be reformatting our guides to product and services so it correlates to these landing pages. So at first, when you're looking at it, if you grab that guide to products and services, you should be able to figure out which landing page to go to pick up the commodity that you're looking for.
And also see will CSV files be available? So yes, that data will be downloadable, so that once you run your query, you could download it as a CSV or some other very readily usable format for our users. The next question is, hi team, Tim Martinson. Asked a question in the previous session about the exclusion after 2017 of all but 2 states in the NASS stats for grape, since including only California and Washington provides 90% or more of the acreage. Grapes are grown in nearly all states and in many thousands of varieties. So the current data falls far short of the data needs for the grape industry, especially wine. Lance Honig responded that it is an issue of time and money. As you modernize processes, is it possible to include improving the resolution for grape stats?
I'll answer that question. this was brought up in the previous session, and really it comes down to our program needs and using our money efficiently, our resources efficiently in the agency. Lance, as well as in crops, and Travis in livestock, and Tony in the demographics area. What we're trying to do is get a coverage of at least 90, sometimes it goes up to 95% of all commodities. So which states we include will always vary by commodity, and the percents will vary by commodity, but we're striving to get that 90% coverage. And if there's something more that the grape industry is looking for, we're always willing to work with them, possibly through some type of an arrangement. Some extra data can be obtained, but the best thing to do there is to contact either Lance Honig, myself, or even send in an email into Brian, and we can look at what can be further done in your area.
Brian, this is Will. Can I add to Dan's explanation? Because we do conduct external project agreements out here in the regional field offices with partners to help fill some of that data void. So I just would offer that as well. Reach out to your regional field office out in your area and discuss possibility of collecting some additional data by your industry.
All right, we have next question is, could these techniques be expanded to produce crop progress in other countries? So, Eileen, I think that one's to you.
I'm fairly new to NASS, so I'm not sure that they haven't started on that. I know that we used to do that in terms of national defense and other things like that. So that's a good question for the folks at George Mason. I think they would be more involved in that way.
All right, and Eileen, I think this one will also come to you. So it's, can you give a deeper description of the data and integration effort with FSA? Are there specific data sets that will be prioritized? And what are the expected impacts on NASS reports? Thanks for the updates today.
Part of this answer belongs with Dan. The NASS reports are a very stable series, and we're not going to do anything that disrupts that series without a lot of understanding about what these new methods are providing. The integration of FSA data and all available data is really in a research phase right now. So I can't really say how it will end, but that's certainly something we'll continue to communicate with everyone on. Dan?
Actually, that's a good response. We do, as we spoke in the other session, we do make use of FSA acreage data. We've done that for many years. And now what we're doing is taking FSA data, additional FSA data, and using it in a more complex manner. And obviously, before we change things at NASS, we always make the data users aware of what we're doing. And so we will never spring anything new on anyone. And we'll always strive to keep our data series consistent year over year. But as you well know, there's a vast amount of data out there, and NASS is doing everything it can to make use of all the data by all the various USDA agencies and ease the burden on the producer.
All right, and then we had a question about the gain reports, and I'll have to say that's this is probably not the correct group to talk about those. I think that's either going to fall with Foreign Ag Service or possibly World Ag Outlook Board. I think the question that was in chat, I believe, unless I'm overlooking one, I think it was also posted in the Q&A that we just handled with the FSA data. I'm not seeing any more questions. Okay, so we'll do a last call for questions here. If anybody has any other things they'd like to ask about. Okay, well, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. We had a good session, got some good questions. As Dan mentioned earlier, we always welcome your feedback. So as data users, any of our producers out there that may be joining us today, if you have comments on what you would like to see in the data products or how we can improve the things like the dashboard, feel free to share that with us. I know we're doing a lot of stakeholder outreach, so some of you may be part of that group. And if you are, thank you for participating in that so we can get NASS in a modern state so we can continue to meet your data needs for the future. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the data users meeting.